Good morning. It's Nafissa here. Let me get myself set up. I'm a little discombobulated this morning. I'm really sorry. Just had one of those mornings where it was a bit slow getting going, and then my technology wasn't all set up. My microphone was missing when I got here. I think my tech guy took it to test something else, so I'm a little bit late. And as you can see, this morning I have my cowgirl hat on, and my hair is a mess. But we're doing the morning meeting anyways. It's been really cold here, and our business has been so busy that I have been spending if you follow me on my personal page or you follow me on Instagram, you'll see some of the nighttime pictures of my nighttime rides with my horse. And so my hair has just been a disaster. Nighttime rain, fog. So this is what you get today. This is reality. This is life. Anyways, welcome everybody. It is Nafissa Shireen here, and I'm just trying to see if I can get the comments up here. So just bear with me a second. I want to get the comments up. I don't know what I did with my preview here. So we're just going to find this and get it up here. So while I'm doing this, I'll just talk a little bit. It's Nafissa Shireen from Living Forward TV and Living Forward Business and Lifestyles. And what we do here is we help entrepreneurs to create six and multi-six-figure success after the 9 to 5. And we really strive to keep personal freedom at its core of everything we do, because if we don't have freedom, what do we have, right? So we're going to, okay, I got this. Let me see if I can open this up and get the comments here, because I want to make sure I can see your comments. Perfect. Oh, Simona, good morning. You're seeing me totally discombobulated today. So anyways, so back today, we are here for our morning meeting. And this month, what we have been focusing on is personal growth as it relates to income growth, because your income, and we say this at the start of every broadcast, and go back and watch the other ones if you haven't. I encourage you to. The key to remember here is that, and if you see me looking over here, I'm just looking at comments, so pardon me if I'm a little frazzled today. The thing about personal growth is that our income can always exceed our technical ability, our business knowledge, our just skills, right? This morning's a great example. I was completely discombobulated with my sound and video tech, but I don't need to know that, because I have a team that can help me with that. But where my income can never surpass is my personal growth. And that's kind of the same for everybody, right? It's amazing. Sometimes you'll see really talented entrepreneurs, incredibly creative, and they do work that is world class, like things I've never seen, and just blow me away. And yet their business struggles, and it has nothing to do with their work. It has everything to do with who they are and how they're showing up in their business. And this isn't a criticism, right? Because we've all had to go through that to get to a point where our business can make money, and we're all at different places, right? Personal growth is a daily exercise for me, and some days it's stronger and other days it shrinks back, and that's why I have my coaches and my masterminds to help me pull through that. So it's not a criticism, but it's something to really be aware of. And today, I really like this topic, especially for those of you who have left a 9 to 5 or are considering leaving a 9 to 5, this piece about being ready and waiting till you're ready. When it comes to personal growth, I think this is a really big one, right? Especially if you've had a corporate role, or you've been a corporate executive, or you've had a management role. And even if you haven't been up in management, if you're supervisory or you're a frontline team member, typically in corporations, the mindset, and I know I had this all the time, was to be ready. You always had to be ready. I worked in mining, and so we studied things for years and years and years before we went forward and made any decisions. And a mine can take like 20 years of study before you ever break dirt. So there's a lot of ingrained training and conditioning to think that you have to be ready before you can make a move. And so when we take action as entrepreneurs that we don't feel ready for, it can be really scary. And so that's where the personal growth comes in thinking like, okay, well, instead of saying, I'm not ready, we want to look at the things that we want to do and think about, and this is a really good one, is to think about a time or an experience in your life where you weren't ready, but life just happened and you dealt with it and you stood up and you did a fabulous job because you weren't ready, because you didn't have the time to overthink it, because you just had to get into action. And as entrepreneurs, that is our day to day. And if we wait till we're ready, we can be waiting a long time. And there's so many things that we might think we need to be ready for. I mean, the big one is, especially if you have a job or you have a career, you might not feel ready to leave yet, right? You're not ready to leave that comfy big paycheck. Or you're not ready to go out and network yet because you don't have business cards, or because your website's not done, or you're not ready to invest in a team member or to get mentoring. There's all kinds of things where we can hold ourselves back and say, I'm not ready yet, right? And here's the thing, you are never going to be ready. And part of being an entrepreneur is really exactly, Simona, don't wait or you'll be waiting forever. And part of being an entrepreneur is every day stepping into the unknown, right? Like, we have to deal with the unknown every single day. Like, sure, at the end of the day, for me, I go and look at my calendar. My team has prepared my schedule. And I'm one of these people that, for my own sake, I find that, and I'm not recommending you do this, we all have to manage our time our own way, but I'm one of those people that I have to compartmentalize. Like, that's just really important to me, is to compartmentalize, because there's so many hats that I wear as the owner of my business and a partner in another business and a horseman and equestrian, that if I am trying to deal with all of it at once, my brain just short circuits. So for me, what I like to do is, at the end of the day, I look at my schedule for the next day, and we'll it's funny, our Living Forward TV that's coming out this week, I actually have a handout for you guys. I don't know if really it's called a handout. It'll be a screencast. I'm going to show you how I schedule. So I'm excited about that one. But I'll just tell you a little bit now. Like, I will I set my schedule on the types of activities I want to do when, and then I let my team fill in the actual appointments, and then whatever's left, I'll fill in. But anyway, I'm digressing a bit here. I'm just excited about this thing we're putting together for you guys. But I tend to look at that the night before, right? I mean, I will kind of look at the whole week in advance, get a 30,000 foot overview, but the granularity of what I have to do the next day, I look at the night before, because that's when my brain can handle it. I mean, I even do that with flights, right? Like, if I'm flying somewhere and I know that, okay, tomorrow's a flying day, it drives my husband nuts, because he'll say, what time's your flight? I'm like, I don't know, and I'm not going to know till Tuesday night if I'm flying Wednesday, right? So that's just how I operate. But the point about that is, I will have a detailed schedule for myself the next day. And even with that, when I wake up, there's a whole lot of unknowns. There's white space. There might be things that I've put out there that I'm waiting to find out about. I may get a new idea the next day. Something may fall through, I think as entrepreneurs, sometimes we might put offers out and we think it's going to go through, and then it doesn't. And so, or we have an appointment with somebody and they don't show up, or we get an opportunity presented to us right out of the blue that's either going to involve travel or an investment. And so you just never know what's going to show up, right? Or a team member resigns. Like, despite being ultra scheduled, schedules is a different topic, there's always still a lot of unknown. So waiting till you're ready is so important, because not waiting till you're ready and dealing with that, and not waiting. So putting that behind you is a really important part of your personal growth. I'm sorry I said that all wrong. Like I said, I'm discombobulated this morning. Putting that behind you is such an important part of your personal growth, because you're going to be stretched like that every single day. And that was my long-winded way of saying, right? You can be, every day something can come up that you don't know, and you just have to deal with it. And so when we look at taking action, but here's the difference. Here's the thing. You will never be ready. However, you can be prepared. And that's a very different outlook, right? Because being prepared, I mean, you think about it, like, let's just take an example. We live in an earthquake zone, so, you buy an earthquake survival kit. I don't think we're ever going to be ready for an earthquake, but if one happens, we've got a survival kit that we can use, right? With food for the dogs, toilet paper, flashlights, batteries, food for us. So it's about being prepared. Will we really be ready for the full implications of what something like that would mean? I mean, no. I mean, who could be? And business isn't that intense, right? But we still want to think of it that way, where we can be prepared even though we're not ready for the full implications. So if you're thinking about, like quitting your job, and I was at a conference last week and I talked to two amazing women who have great business ideas. However, they're not feeling like ready to quit their day jobs yet. The thing is, they never will be. And the truth of the matter is, um, it's not too often that when you leave that job that you replace that income like that. Now, it can happen. It has happened for some people. It certainly didn't happen that way for me. But it doesn't mean that you have to live in scarcity or that you have to scale back or that it's going to be a permanent way of living, right? Truth is, though, you need to be ready. You need to be ready to say, okay, well, maybe I won't buy Louboutins or have my this vacation this year or whatever temporarily, right? Now, if you make the money, that's great and you go and do it, but you can be prepared. Or you can be prepared in the sense that, you know what, as soon as I leave this job, the very first thing I'm going to do, I mean, you might take a couple of days off, right? But you're going to get out there and network and go meet people. And you've already identified all the networking groups you're going to go to. Or maybe you have already, before you take that leap, you've gotten a mentor, you've gotten a coach. So you've got somebody to run with you to help you uh, get it going as fast as you can, because I mean, that's a big difference. So a lot of times people will say, well, I'm going to wait till my business makes money before I get the help I need to make the money. That's kind of backwards. But that's one of the best things you can do to be ready is to have a partner, a coach, a champion, a mastermind that can help you shortcut, and instead of what could take years could take months, right? Another way you could be ready is you could say like, okay, I'm estimating it's going to cost, and you need to know what it's going to cost to run your business. I'm estimating it's going to cost a couple $1,000s a month. And so I'm going to make sure that I have 2 or 3 months saved up, right? Even though you maybe aren't ready in the sense that you've got, your complete income covered, your complete staff built, all the approval of everybody that you feel you need approval from. And if you're thinking about that, go and watch our broadcast from last week because we dive into that. But you're prepared because you now know what you need to make. You've got somebody to help you. You know where you're going to go. So that's the big difference between being ready and being prepared. It's a big difference. I mean, being prepared is just that you have a few ducks in a row, but you're not waiting for everything to be perfect. And it's not easy, right? Like it's certainly not easy to sometimes take that leap. And I'm still talking about leaving your job. We're going to talk about a few other things in a minute, but this is a big one. And I work with a lot of people who've made that leap, and sometimes they make the leap. And this is the interesting piece. They make the leap not when they're ready, but because it's been forced on them. They've snapped, they've broken, they've been fired, the company's closed down, a whole lot of things. And then it forces them to get into action, or they get sick, and the choice is made for them. And it's not a fun way to have that choice made versus when you could actually take that choice yourself and make the decision. If Simona's still here, maybe she could put in the comments, she was one of those people that made the decision. She just did it, right? She got prepared and she went. And then a lot of things fell into place for her. You can watch that on our Living Forward TV on our YouTube channel. We have an interview with her, and she talks about her process for making that happen. And again, it was never about being 100% ready. But she prepared, she did what she had to do, and then she made the decision. And so this is really important when you think about it in terms of making that leap from your corporate role. It's like you will never be ready. But if it's calling to you, then you got to think about how you can prepare so that you can do it, whether you're ready or not. Now, in my case, I wasn't even thinking about leaving. It wasn't even a thought. The idea of becoming an entrepreneur was just not even in my mind. I had a really, really good job. I loved it. I lived in Vancouver and I worked in Alaska. And I always said to people that I lived and worked in the 2 most beautiful places on earth. I've always said that if God had a summer home on earth, it would be Alaska. I loved going there. I had a community up there. But then everything around me changed. Everything. My immediate supervisor, the CEO who I reported to, was replaced by someone else. 3 members of our board of directors, who were in a joint venture, were replaced. And then their supervisors in the companies that they worked for that owned our company, a lot of them were gone too. And all of a sudden, I found myself in a job that on the outside looked the same, but on the inside, like nothing was the same. And there was a lot of other changes, which I won't get into, but they were really hurtful and difficult to deal with. And I couldn't like I just couldn't take it. And it's one thing to hate your job and commute every day. It was a whole other thing to hate your job that you used to love, and now you're in a different country, right? I was leaving the country, leaving my home, leaving my husband, my dogs, my horse, and going. So it happened over an email. Like I got an email that just sent me over the edge, and I threw a donaire across the living room or the kitchen and just quit on the spot, like a 20-year career. So I didn't have time in that moment to think about, was I ready? Had I put everything in a row? What was I going to do next? Did I have enough money? Did I have clients? I mean, I didn't even know I was going to be an entrepreneur. I did not know what I was going to do. And that was one of those moments where life just, pushed me and said, like, here, you got to make a decision, right? And I didn't have time to be ready. So that's the most, and I know for me, and then I adapted, right? And I figured it out as I went along. And hey, look, I'm here today and I'm fine. So what I'm hoping you get from that is that, if you look back in your life, there's going to be times where you were just pushed up against a wall and a decision was made for you, and you had to adapt, and you probably did really, really well, because on the other side of it was what you probably actually wanted or didn't necessarily know you wanted. If you wait till you're ready, if you wait till everything's lined up, you're just going to be waiting a long time. And so that's where this personal growth piece comes in. As I said earlier in the start of the broadcast, I see we've had a few more people join us. So just to let you all know, I'm Nafissa Shireen from Living Forward, and we work with entrepreneurs to help them create six and multi-six-figure success after the 9 to 5. And we've been focusing all month on the concept of how your personal growth directly correlates with your income growth. And today we are focusing on taking action before you're ready, but you can still be prepared. In my case example I gave, I wasn't even prepared. Right? I just wasn't even prepared. It just happened like that, like literally a donaire and a text, and a 20-year career was done. So when you think about your business, there are going to be times where that type of stuff happens anyway. You might have things might be going really well, and then a team member might hand in their notice. Or last year I actually had a situation where one of my team members, she's just such an amazing person, and we had a great relationship, and she was a very loyal person and didn't want to hurt people's feelings. And I only had a part-time role for her. She ended up getting a full-time job at another company. Now, she was like the backbone to my company, and I think she was too afraid to tell me. And so she started this job while still working for me and then disappeared. And, we eventually sorted it out. But I had no time to be ready for that, right? And I just had to take action. But we were prepared, because as a business, we know that people come and people go, and there's turnover. And so we have procedures written down. With every employee that we hire, we review all our procedures and our standard operating procedures and have them update them as they're working, because we want to be prepared if there's ever a change, right? But was I ready? Of course I wasn't ready. I didn't want to be looking for a new person. However, things always work out though, right? Because I ended up bringing someone on my team that was an even better fit, and who has really taken that role and run with it and done incredible things with it. So if I had thought about the fact that I wasn't ready, and here's the thing, on that particular staff turnover, it was actually the best thing for my business. And that particular team member had actually reached her maximum growth level with us, and it was good for her to go on to another role, because she was doing something that I had no expertise in. So remember, we were talking earlier that how your skill, like your business and your income, can always outgrow your technical skills, because you can hire it, but it can't outgrow your personal growth. Now, I had a team member who had reached the maximum of her technical skills. She needed mentoring. She needed somebody who could help her go to the next level in that. And that wasn't going to be me. So her moving on for her was the right thing. And I needed skills at a higher level. However, I never would have made that call, because I wasn't ready to let her go because of the personal loyalty to her. However, that was a decision that was made, and things worked out. So as an entrepreneur, these things happen for you all the time. And so the challenge I have for you today is to think about all those times in your life, whether it was at a career or whether it's in your business, where an opportunity and it might not have felt like an opportunity at the time. And that's the kicker about opportunities, right? Sometimes they feel pretty bad when they happen. When that one team member left, it felt pretty bad. I didn't sleep for 3 days. In my husband's business, we had some big changes a couple of years ago that felt really bad at the time, but then opened up all kinds of opportunity for us. And that's a different topic. And it's been fantastic. So look back over your history and think about the things that at the time did not necessarily feel like an opportunity. They were decisions you would not have gone forward with if they weren't just kind of dumped on you, but now you had to deal with it. And look at how you handled it, and take some pride in yourself, right? Like, okay, I handled this. And then I'm going to take it one step further and say, okay, ask yourself, so what am I facing now? Like, what am I not doing now because I don't feel ready? I don't feel ready to leave my job. I don't feel ready to hire a team member. I don't feel ready to go get clients. I don't feel ready because of this. My website's not done, so I can't network. I don't have the funding in place, so I can't get the help I need. I am not ready to take on clients. I am not ready to take on this business partner. All these things where you're saying you're not ready, I want you to examine if you're truly, I mean, if this is truly something where you're feeling you're not ready to do, or are you using the not ready because it's just not something you want, right? And then look at that and say, okay, but what would it take for me to be ready? Like if it is something that you actually want to do and you're holding off because of fear and because everything's not lined up. I mean, there's going to be times in your business and life where it's actually not the right time, right? And not the right time to do something. Like for instance, if I wanted to, let's just say, like I was looking at my website this year and there was a lot of changes I wanted to make, and it's just really not, it was not a priority, not a focus, not what I want to spend my time on. So what I did is we just did a quick color refresh, right? And that was good enough at the time. And there's going to be times where that happens. But, I could have said like other things like, I'm not ready to launch my new program, right? Those are the type of things where we're holding back out of fear. And I want you to look at those and think, well, what would it take? I mean, what would it take to be prepared? Because I'm never going to be ready. So how can I be prepared? What do I need to do to prepare? And when am I willing to take action? Because if you keep waiting till you're ready, you're going to be waiting a long time. You're going to be waiting a long time. I can tell you that. And the best results happen when you just get into action. And when you get into action, you have no choice but to just keep moving forward and taking steps. So that's the morning meeting for today. Thursday, we're coming back with another morning meeting. Next week is our last Tuesday, Thursday morning meetings before we close for the holidays. I might pop in with some casual lives, but that's just, we tend to soft close over those days. Give my team a break, give me a break, just kind of have some flex time. But we will be back for 3 more before the holidays. So on Thursday this week, we are talking about risk, personal growth and risk. That's something, and it's a great segue from this topic, because that's something that a lot of us are not ready to do, is to take risks. And you have to really grow in order to take risks. And so that's what we're going to talk about on Thursday, is your personal growth and risk, and how as a person, when you grow and you step into being able to take risks, how things can really open up for you. And so we're going to talk about that on Thursday. And I'm going to sign off for now. We're going to have a great day here, busy day, phone calls, all kinds of stuff going on. So look forward to talking to you guys later. If you enjoyed today, please let me know below. Introduce yourself. If you're here on the replay, I should have said this in the beginning. Still tell me who you are, because I'm going to come back and interact with you, engage with you. Thank you, Simona, for all your comments that you made here. And yeah, we're going to have a great day, and we'll see you guys later. Bye.